So, we're going to bring an artist who rose up in the reggae. And we're going to tell you that he's called Luciano. Luciano.
So many nights we face this rugged life with crucified struggles we got to fight. My friends and my environment sometimes they don't be wrong, but by my faith I keep holding on. Are you ready?
Until it got to it enough, I've never wanted to part with Exterminator or Firehouse Crew, but it had reached a stage where when Sizzla came in the crew, after a while Sizzla started giving up some different types. And his type of songs, he started singing certain type of songs. And because first song Sizzla did when I accosted him, when I approached him, I said, Sizzla, what you doing a song like Smoke the Herb and Get a Humble Tart? Babylon Can't Stop the Sun, what's it, not that? And I said, my brother, come here. If you get a humble tart, what make you have your rat, my brother? What you mean by rat? I say, you have your cuss bad word. You have no word about it. I say, guile word. So we say, right away, I'm ready to find passage for sure. I say, you know, I have to control and the words of I mouth and meditation of I heart be acceptable in their sight. So if you assume this position as a high priest, turban up and say, Emmanuel, you sing all them great songs like Black Woman and Child and Mountains Around Jerusalem, if a blasphemy, what's the need to go over that side to go sing them kind of thing? So he kind of scoffed at me and he never took the advice or my reprimand lightly. And I think he took offense to what I said to him. And so I went to Fatis. I said, Mr. Fatis, you know, you're one song with Sizzla about there's a course word about road and thing. And Fatis, you know, Fatis turned to me and said, well, I'm young now. I'm young, man, so, you know, so I feel sorry with him. So I say, young? So I say, Fatis, look, all these years, me and you live on this road and we have built a label and you have a catalog of hits after hits. And you tell me now you're going to just allow a young youth now for just come mash up what we have and spoil what we have then. So come on, man. We say, no, that is young. And no, you have to talk to the man. Talk to the youth before him turn a man stop on you know Fatis. Fatis never listen. Fatis low, Sizzla for doing thing, and then Sizzla went deeper into the profanity and started singing some other things. So when I see this kind of thing, I said, no, this is where I have to part ways. Because Fatis was not strong enough to control Sizzla. And then the negative vibe was creeping up. And at the same time, it was Jesse Gender who was also in Sizzla's ears, telling him a bunch of things. Because Jesse Gender, he came in the crew. I thought he came as a good brother, but I thought he had ulterior motive. Why I say this? When Jesse Gender first came into the Exterminator, Jesse was wearing Jerry curls when he came to Jamaica. Barefoot pants and some nice. I mean, he was just like an Italian, one of them Italian mafia. That's all Jesse. I don't. I'm not putting on, I'm not taking off. The truth is the truth, Empress. But some stars said to himself, Jesse Gender, I remember one time he had a pants with some big buckle at the front. I said to him, Jesse, mine lightning lick them buckle there and lick out. You're in Australia, when I do, watch them buckle there. And I said, what are you talking about? Lightning, we are the lightning god. So Jesse came with that energy and it started going into Sizzla's head. From Jesse came into the Exterminator crew, Sizzla started born God too. Because Jesse was a man with born in God and all kind of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not putting on, I'm not taking off. The truth is the truth. And if I want the truth to be told, come to the message, I'm not going to tell it as it is. When the energy was changing the Exterminator, I said, it's time to go. I have to do my own thing. I said, Fatis, I'm sorry, you know, sir, but let me find a different management. And Fatis couldn't believe the day when I told Fatis that I would have to part ways because I don't like what I see happening. And Fatis was also fueling it because he was ready to book shows like with Sizzla and then he had he had what's the word I'm looking for? He had produced some other song with another artist called Prince Malachi. And if you notice, Prince Malachi sounded somehow like me. So he was going on the road with Malachi and Sizzla. So somehow we started see some little thing I want like Fatis. I don't know if his greed got into Fatis that he wanted to have 2 shows on the road. Like he could have Mikey General and Luciano. Because I know Mikey now deviate from my tradition and me now left Mikey from the tradition. So him said, well, I can't separate them 2 years. So. And then after a while, Turbulence came to the scene and there was another youth named Teflon. You know. But things got disarrayed at one time because things get out of hand, you know, because it was as if there was no sense of direction as to how earlier years of Exterminator label, we were more making songs to make sure to inspire the people and to educate the people, to remind the people about Jah and to keep the people on a traditional pathway with roots and culture. But things had changed, so I deviated and went my pathway. Exterminator, well, Fatis, he was the one who brought the Firehouse Crew. So I couldn't take away Firehouse Crew. If I could move with Firehouse Crew at the time, I could do that. But Fatis was the manager for the Firehouse Crew. So I couldn't do nothing about that. You know?
Yeah.
So when I parted ways, I decided to, you know, form my own band and do my own thing because I believe that the music can heal the world. And I want to make only good music, spiritual music, cultural music. I can't join forces with people, man. You can't serve 2 masters, that's one thing I know. He said, I serve God, I serve the devil. Can't serve God and the devil same time. So, that's how it went. And Mr. Dean Fraser is another great maestro where it was an honor to be on the stage and be on the road with Mr. Fraser, I tell you honest truth. Because when I watch all Sunsplash, 1980 Sunsplash and them great Sunsplash and Mr. Dean Fraser, you realize that Mr. Dean Fraser is a living legend amongst I and I. So I was so honored that in my F-150 that I'm driving, it's Mr. Fraser I buy that F-150 from. And for some reason, even if that engine go bad, I just fix it. Find the parts and fix it because they say it's a legendary chariot, you know. To me, it's an honor that I even get a chance to rub shoulders with these great people and that I could even make my way up the ladder of the music and achieve my own footage or my own foundation and thing. You know, but I have to still give regard and respect to all them great people who helped to mold my career. You know, it was hard when I have to depart from Exterminator Crew at the time, but it was something that I had to do to safeguard my own sanity. When Jesse Gender came to Exterminator Crew, we had, you know, welcomed him and we gave him nothing but love and showed him. Because Jesse Gender, there was Mikey General, myself, and there was Ragnar Paiser, and there was Sizzla came on a little later down the road. There was also Shadow Man. We tried to change his name to Culture Man. Because we had said, well, we can't afford to be in the shadows all the days of your life. But Firehouse Crew was the crew that Fatis would be working with. And that was the in-studio band. But Jesse Gender came along in the last part when just as Sizzla was about to make his break. That's when Jesse Gender came to Jamaica. I think he had migrated from the US or probably came home to further his music. But when Jesse came to the Exterminator label, I was singing big hits like Messenger, One Way Ticket, Poor and Simple, and all these big hits. But so, how Jesse could say I was a dub plate artist? No, I'm skillful enough. I can do dubs. I'm a dub specialist. I can do dubs. I can flip my songs and put them in dub form and dub style, you know. But to say I was a dub plate singer to me was like an understatement. A disrespect to a great man like. I'm very talented. I've been writing my songs. A song like Over the Hills. We can have a place to live. Imagine a song like that. I've been writing it out with my guitar. Because I started playing my guitar from the age of 10, you know. My father was a carpenter. And he built the first guitar. I helped my father sand down the wood and all them things there and watch him I didn't know that wood, you can boil wood and get it to bend. You apply heat to the wood and the water, and then you put weight in certain parts to get the bending right there in the guitar there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is the part I'm talking. My father sat down the wood to one want it, and then him put weight in the spot, boil the wood, and put weight in the middle of it, and extend it on like some block and 2 blocks over the side, and put weight in the middle so you get the bend. And after a while, when it dry, you up the bend so you could get the shape for the guitar, you know. So I was there doing the whole process, and I have to tell the truth. After my father passed away, the guitar was the only thing that kept me connected to my father's spirit, you know. So I started learning to play my guitar from early in age 10, 11, coming up from 12. I was singing my own songs and writing my own lyrics. So, you know, I have to give thanks because I grew up in the church, and most of my experience in the church, singing harmonies with the groups and on the choir. I used to sing on the choir too, you know. But singing harmonies and learning to write my songs by just learning the choruses that I would sing at church. I said, okay, you have a hook, you have a punchline, and then you have some verses that explain what you're singing about in the hook. It's fine. And just get your chords, and then I was moving ahead with my music. When Jesse came to the Exterminator crew, I was making hits, mega hits, you know. So for him to say I was a dope-plate singer, it was really an understatement and a disrespect and all that. But anyhow, I forgive him because sometimes Jesse talk and bag of things. If you don't know Jesse and have the love, you might feel like Jesse never mean any good and want to cuss and go on bad, you know. When I met Mr. Freddie McGregor, the captain for Big Ship label, when I met him, you know, he heard me singing some dubs one day and he said, oh, do you know you're talented? He said, oh, you come check me out and give me some rhythms. And I think the reason why he said I was professional, he gave me some rhythms. I think he gave me about 6 rhythms one day on a cassette. And by the time I go home, I just write, I find 6 songs ready for the 6 rhythm. So by the next day, I find myself a big shape and I say, King, I'm ready. And I say, you're ready? I say, yes, King. Because you know when you want something, Emily, you don't want to itch, you don't want to no joke thing, because when I left Manchester coming to Kingston, I said to myself, I come to further my life and better myself. I don't come to play around, I come to Gulpap. Youth to play around with them things and sing a one song and them feel like them achieve the greatest thing in life and stop the song. No. Me feel say, if you just make hits and anytime you have free time, I go into the studio. So when Father Freddie gave me the rhythms, I think at that time, Mikey Spice was also working on an album for Freddie. But Mikey was taking ages to finish his album, Mikey Spice. You know? So, because Mikey is the type now, we come and do one song and you know, Freddie not see him till the next 6 months. Man gone by the night course, I gone, you know, gone by vacation. By the time he come back himself, ready again. But by the time Spice reach back a big shit, he hears my album almost finished. Because by the time I go and I sing 6 songs and I say, any more rhythms, King? I say, boy, I work hard, you know. So I say, yeah. Give me the rhythms and I carry home. Because the thing about me, then time when I do my music, I never had a chick nor a child. I never even want no woman in time because I said to myself, say, I want to achieve something with my life because it's a thing about the energy. If you have your energy divided in so many different parts, you don't get to focus on what you want to do. And I just find many of my great artists, a lot of great artists who could have achieved great things with their life, but them get caught up in family life and things. I say, it's okay. Wait until you set the thing out. I remember I met, because while I was going from Aquarius to Nunium Studio to Lego Studio in Orange Street, and I forgot to mention that I met Mr. Sky Eye from Mama Productions. But the thing about it, when I met a bridging name, Presley. Presley is a great singer. When I hear Presley sing, I used to say, man, what a man can sing, man. I always say to Presley, you have a big in a yard. And Presley say, you think so? I say, what do you mean if you think so? He say, you have a big singer in a yard. I say, you're the Jamaican Presley. And he laugh and he say, well, Always make me feel good, you know. One thing about you, know what I'm saying? No, put fun and joke aside, yeah, I can sing in a fire. Then one day, Preston come to me and tell me, say, he might go married. Jesus Christ. Say, last year, so I said, Preston, you sure, man? I said, wait, don't wait, Preston. And Preston said, I made this chicken and I tell you, this is it, Luciano. Can't look no further right now, I tell you, child. She's my destiny. So I said, Preston, just be that little man till you break out the your music and, you know, I said, I can't wait. Anyhow, Preston went ahead and got married, never invited me to the wedding. I feel that way, I'm like, come I said, the man them asked me for my blessing. Anyhow, if I'm with Preston married, I don't see back Preston. Not saying that married life mash him up, you know, but I think he went ahead and gone into the church and he's down doing some ministry. I think he lives in Canada at the moment. He's cousin with Iwane's cousin, you know. So when I met Iwane, I showed him, say, yo, Preston, talk about you every day, you know. And I check Preston. And I said, well, long time I hear about you, long time Preston talk about you, you know. Say, I am big guy. But you know, when I finished up my album, I remember I was about on the 12th song for Shake It Up Tonight album. And I saw Mikey Spice stroll in the studio one day. And I was singing a song about, do you remember? I was singing a song about, it's like a love song, you know. And I said, do you remember? I don't have the melody full in my head now, but it was a nice good love song. I said to the girl, I said, you don't remember me? You passed me like you don't know me. But try to think, I'm the same guy you knew some years ago. We had a good time and Mikey came in the studio and Mikey was like laughing at the song. But we just start the song, you know, because sometimes when you start a song, it takes a time for it to materialize and come to fruition. By the time that song finished and Freddie and Dalton, oh God bless Dalton's soul. Dalton was a guitarist, but he sing the harmony also. When they finished the song, you couldn't believe, man. Talk about production. He talk about someone who's professional. I have to give it to Mr. Freddie McGregor, the captain. Because when I see the type of work he put down, I could only follow the same tradition and try and be, like emulate him and try to be as professional as he. Because all them do, when I hear about my song, I couldn't believe. Because I always do the songs and leave. And when I hear about the songs with them, fix the harmonies and overdub, horns and whatever, I felt so good in myself, man. You know? So give thanks, Captain. I know he's going through a little challenge at the time. I just said my prayers for him, man. God bless him, you know? Mr. Copeland Forbes, oh my God. That man is a walking encyclopedia. If you need any knowledge, if you want any number, any contact for anyone in the business, anyone who has a meaningful position in the reggae fraternity or just the music fraternity, not just reggae, Mr. Forbes is the man to call. When you talk about professionalism, that's another professional man. And Mr. Forbes takes note of everything. That's one thing I learned from Mr. Forbes. Make notes, because you can't remember everything by tomorrow. So much things bombard your brain, you forget about what happened yesterday. So I learned also a lot of stuff in terms of make sure you don't miss a flight, because a promoter can spend a lot of money, promote shows, and on the day of question when you're supposed to be on the plane, you miss the flight. Just a simple thing like missing a flight, you miss the show, and then everything just mash up. And you know, I was reading the book, Mr. Forbes has just released a book, and I was reading the book, and when I reached my paragraph, my father just shaped me, and I never realized there were so many things in the pipeline for me. Because Mr. Forbes had made so much contact with some big things to go down for me in the music business. And then at that time, Mr. Philip Burrell was my producer / manager. Because Mr. Copeland was like the road manager and the accountant for the tours and so on, you know. But when I read the book, my father shaped my head and said, my God, I didn't know all of these things. I didn't know that Eddie Murphy wanted a combination with me and all them stuff. I didn't know. I swear. When I read the book, my first time I forgot to call Mr. Fabs and talk to Mr. Fabs because all these things I never know because when I was singing, I just singing with the love of my heart and just as a hobby. I never knew the things that were going on behind the scene, you know. So when I look back and look on the road of life and I say, boy, I still give thanks because I have life and I have achieved a great lot with my music career and Mr. Copeland Forbes, Mr. Philip Burrell, Fatis, Mr. Dean Fraser, all these great people have helped to really bring me to where I am in this music. Yeah. Mr. Sly and Robbie, Firehouse School, all these great people, the Daffodils, the Harmony Singers, everyone play a part. You know, Mr. Dusty from Firehouse, Danny Basie. Because many times Fatis would use, I would work with Mr. Sly on drums and Danny on bass. A lot of people don't know. Fatis had a thing about chemistry. Now when it comes to the tour business, tying up the tours and making sure dates connected and fly from point A to point B, Mr. Fabs was the one for that. Fatis never have nothing to do with that thing. And many times Fatis might miss a flight, but Mr. Copeland have to find a way to reroute him or send him through Honduras to pick up back at home. So, Mr. Fabs, and I tell you, when you look at Mr. Fabs' age, and look at the man, when you hear his age and look at Mr. Fabs, you have to say, no man, it's like this man has found the fountain of youth because Mr. Fabs, fresh. And he beat you a lot because he dropped off a stage, I think 2 times now. First time he dropped off a stage, he broke one foot or so. And the next time he nearly broke him back. He dropped off Junior Reid stage, the last stage the man but drop off. I don't know how they make up a stage like that because by right, stage supposed to have reinforcement and things that people don't drop off, and by right, they're supposed to have insurance. That if anything you can get some form of finance, medical. Well, I don't know, this thing, this business, you know, it's a whole lot of thing, man. But I learned a lot from Mr. Fabs. First of all, to be on time. Because if you're not on time, you miss your flight. And in many cases, you know, where things don't work out, like they go to a show and things don't work out, Mr. Fabs always have a diplomatic way of fixing things and making sure that musicians are paid. And even if he is not paid, he makes sure that everyone get their money and we go home, you know? And I just saw him, we had a show. He was at Rotterdam Festival. He was at Reggae Summer Jam. And just the other day I saw him. It was at a festival. I think it was in Fort Lauderdale. It's good. Exterminator Crew. It was about, them time, about 22 of us, you know. It was like the biggest crew on the road. And then time there was a time when computer thing was coming in and a lot of people were going on the street with just, a lot of artists were going on out there with just a computer. And them time that you have Scare Them Crew and all them crew there. They, you know, but Exterminator, I have to give thanks to Fatis and give him his props because he insisted that we went out with a live band. And them time we have travel 22, we have harmony singer, you have percussionist, you have chef, you have accountant, you have 22 of us. That was a big crew, I tell you. So sometimes when I see some of the youngsters doing them thing, I have just look and shake my head and say, boy, I remember them days when I go on the road with that 22 people. But right now, it don't make sense to have so much people on the road with you because it's a whole lot involved. You have to talk about rooms, you have to talk about the ticket pricing and all these things. And then you have to pay everyone. And at the end of the day, you need the people who are part of the show, like harmony singers, you check the musicians, and then your chef, you need a personal chef because you can't go everywhere and go eat out at any part, you understand? I don't know what I'm cooking out there. See some things we're going on WhatsApp and TikTok these days or some, when you look at some type of food I'm cooking some places, your belly turn. That make it even worse when I walk in my apartment, I tell you. Yeah, man. The own engineer, because you have to have your own engineer too. Because sometimes engineers sabotage. A man can sabotage out the road there now. When you're ready to sing, I go, I sing, I go, your mouth, I sing. Nothing now come out. Then just draw down your thing, so. And watch him, then now move, you know. And now show no emotion neither, well, and now do nothing, you know. Oh, God. I went to Mr. Castro Brown, Union Records. That's where I met Mikey General, because Mikey was affiliated with Mr. Castro Brown. Because Mr. Brown was, he had also a business in the UK. And Mikey General was a British artist. Born in Jamaica, but he grew up in the UK and then he came back to Jamaica. So that's where I met my brother, Mikey General. Very good friend, a good brother. He's born October like myself. He's born the 9th of October. And I'm the 20th. But you know, when I met Mikey, from day one, he and I just connected. The spirit, the energy. And I guess since we are both liberals, we have the kind of liberal spirit. He loves the music like I love the music. And at one time, Mikey was very instrumental in when I started smoking cannabis. Because Mikey was always smoking a spliff until I decided I can try it one day. But the thing about Mikey I love is down to earth, he's humble, he's a peacemaker. And even though he's a freedom fighter, he's not one that we're gonna start unnecessary war. And that's what I love about Mikey. You know, he was never fazed by the hype and what's going on in the music business with all the politics and the corruption. He stays true to Rastafari. Yeah, and that was in 1992 when I met my brother, Mikey. Mikey General was driving a little Toyota Corolla at the time. The car never had no indicator, no brake light, no wiper, no horns. And there was a breakout in the windscreen, big like a loaf of bread in the windscreen. They could never believe. I don't know. No, you know, I was just talking about it the other day. I said, I don't know how Mikey drive around a vehicle like that and then don't carry him up and lock him up. But that was the kind of man. And every morning he would come to me because I was staying in Central Village. And Mikey General would come and pick me up every morning ceremoniously to go to studio. You know, sometimes I had $10, he had $10, we make it for $20 to buy gas. Sometimes the $20 gas is enough gas. The thing about herbs, you know, cannabis, it's just like music, you know. You see, if a man planting herbs and just thinking about the dollar, how much money you can make, then he will make all kind of strain and before you know, all kind of song, all kind of names them come with, Blue Widow, Sour Diesel. Since when all the herbs named Sour Diesel? Think about it. We know about the good old long spread, sensimilla. You know, when we burn a nice jar of sensimilla from the ancient Kush, you feel a different kind of vibration. It's just like listening to roots rock reggae. It's a different meditation, you know. So I believe that it boils down to the nature and the meditation of the farmers. Because if you can book up on I remember one time, you know, I was at Rebel Salute, and there was a man, a farmer man, who came to the backstage, you know, and they was giving him a one time. The security didn't want to let him in because the man looked like as a farmer, rugged and piece of some tear-up clothes and thing and some rough clothes. But he had a bag on his shoulder. And the man says, the messenger will come to him, man, sir. I'm here like them want to push him out. And I said, no. Let's do that, man. I said, Empress, when the man come with some man, and I said, messenger, some herbs we carry here. You see, when we take the herbs. So I said, we speak and say, so I said, how much for all of this? And I said, just give me what you have, man. I'm going to give him a piece of food. But just give him a piece of food. And him feel nice and him say, thank you, King. And I said, no want something to drink, come and get something to drink, man. And treat him nice and send him on and go on him here. After the whole thing, take out a little split for me, I said, build a split for me on fire. And I said to the man, I said, you want to share up that. But when I burn my split, I say, yo, bring back the barbecue. Bring it back, because I tell you the truth. The herb was like nothing I've ever smoked or burned. That's what I tell you, there's herbs and there's herbs. Yeah. And there's farmers and there's farmers. There's farmers just making some money. But there's farmers who just do this because they want to keep the spirit alive. And I remember I have a brother-in-law named Jappy from Westmoreland. And when I go to Petersfield and go up in the hills, the man is like monk. When I see the man there, I go, when you come and follow Mikey General and myself, we follow him up into the hills, because the man have to plant. Them time there, you can't plant herbs nowhere near city or no normal dwellings. You have to be up in the mountains. And you have to skip from some honeycomb stone, some precipice over the sun. Because you have to plant your herbs and police now go and go. Police fear for him to go for them place there. So I go, I see my man, I skip some stone and dive over some place and I say, wait. When I tell me, I say, wait, this I say, I go there and I fire. This look dangerous, come look and so. When I tell him, you can't hear from Mike, he say, Mike, General, like I say, oh, man, they way down so. But the point I'm really trying to say is that when you go up in the mountain and this ras Jappy give you a jar of herbs, you want to savor that herb for the rest of the year. Because you now can get a next jar like that. Some places like California, you can get a nice jar too. Not just Jamaica, you have good farmers. But I believe, as I say, it boils down to the meditation of the farmer and the mindset. You know, there's always a good grade you can get in Jamaica. And because of the location also, we are strategically located in the tropics and with much sun, and because the island is surrounded by water, then these are elements that the herbs grow and thrive in. And this is why the herbs have a different spirit about it. If you notice, herbs from St. Elizabeth is a little different from those in Orange Hill or Burn Savannah or Blue Hole up in Negril. It says a lot because of the water and the elements surrounding the herbs and the environment with the sun, then you get a different vibration. So it boils down to the location, the vibration, the meditation of the farmer. And I remember that day I was driving in the captain's vehicle, and he saw Freddie, he saw Dennis Brown on the road, and he stopped and he said, like him, I said, Dennis, you have any man? And Dennis come up and said, well, I'm priest, where is the priest? And he said, he played the song one time there, it was cassette. And he played the cassette in the cassette deck. And I said, you hear the song here. Listen, you remember this one? And Dennis, the king, listen for a while, and he said, yeah, how will I do this one again, sir? So when I hear that, my head swelled big, so I couldn't eat for the rest of the day, man. Because for some reason, some people were saying I sounded a lot like Dennis, which I have a claim that my icon as my daddy. He's my spiritual father, because I lost my dad when I was 10 years old. So I had to look to anyone who I could learn from. And this is the thing I want to tell youngsters out there, because sometimes things do happen that things don't work out with mother and father, and the parents go separate ways. But the mother, sometimes, my mother had to live mother and father, and in many cases, my mother was more serious than my father. Because if I make one wrong move, my mother make sure she reprimand me. And she now grab anything in light or simple, anything she grab, a Dutch pot, a piece of board, anything that coming after me as a missile. So my mother was a serious lady, you know. But when I heard King Dennis Emmanuel Brown say, boy, this song, man, when I do this again, praise. And they both laughed, and then, you know, from then on, like, I said, boy, it sounds so close like the king himself, but I think it was his song. Then this is a good sign for me. And then I kept seeing him, and he was always singing dub plates. And I remember one time he was doing dubs at the studio, and he was so tired that he was leaning on his elbow, like this, you know. And I felt sorry for him, and like I got him and said, you need some water again? And like him said, yes, I'm going and get water for him. I'm now watching. And for some reason, I think he really took a liking to me, because he realized I was studying his mouth, every song he sing, every word came out of his mouth. I was watching him, every move he made. So he realized that I was really onto him like that. And I tried to emulate him in some way, and that was, you know, good sign. And before he passed away, he saw Mikey General, and he said to Mikey, I think he knew he was going. He said, Mikey, well, Lucy. And Mikey said, what's the studio, sir? Just tell him to go and sing for me here, sir. So when Mikey told me that was another serious time in my life. Because for one, I realized he knew he was going. And for two, I realized it was my responsibility to carry on where he left off, you know. That's a very serious historical moment in my life. If we deviate too far from the roots or from the foundation, it's trouble there. Some of these youth, you can't talk to them because you hear them cursing them in them song, and you try to call them and say, yo, you don't need to use them curse words in the song. Sing a song that people can listen, because if your song can be played on radio, if you have bleep out, that's not a good sign. So it boils down to the respect level, the respectability of these artists. It boils down to the true acknowledgement of what they have, because some of the younger artists, them just see this as a way of just make it in their life and the hype, and just get a fat ride and have a big house on the hill and have some girls that scream out and all them things there. When you hear some testimony of some of these young dancehall artists, when a man tell you say, in boy had gone deep and he was taking pills and taking drugs and had 15 women one time in one room, and somebody say, what kind of life them there? If you say, no man, they come like some different generation, this generation. You can't live so, people. These younger generation need to come back to themselves. And a lot of them are not trying to live a life of reality, because they're living in a world of fantasy with all this new age of technology, and them every minute them posting up things and TikTok and all these things, and to them it's like a fantasy world I'm living in right now. And this is why some of these youth, they don't take it professionally. You know, when all a soul man come for dub plates and a man sing 1 minute what a dub and make mistake, and the soul man said, my brother, you call that a name wrong, you know. The man said, no man, we can't fix that, man, we can't. I hear testimonies and stories of sound man where spend the money on themselves when them hear the artist. So you say, man, I sing a note, and when they realize they can't make the high note as it's in the song, he just cut the note and leave it right there. And gone. No, if me sing a bad note, me can't sleep on my bed. Me have to come out, I say, give me that note, me fix up a note there. If I sing a bad note in a dub plate, me say, because if you sing a bad note, remember it's gonna play in the dance, you know. People go hear it and say, wait, what happened to Luce? Like in drunk or in like in something wrong, man. I don't know that I spliced up that, man. So to me, it boils down to one's pride. If you take pride in what you're doing, you will definitely have a different approach. It boils down to a personal pride, because if you know you're going on stage and you don't cut your nails and make sure why your teeth well brushed and all them things there. Yeah, some of these guys go on stage with all them pants dropping, have no belt, no nothing. They don't have no class. And that is why this generation lasts. Honestly, when I see Roman Verga and I see you know, how he monitors himself and how he adjusts things and how he put himself together, you can see that there's some who are still trying to hold up a thing, you know. I love Kibaka Pyramid. I love his energy, his mannerism. I can see the rising prince. He's a youth where make sure he put on him clothes, he look clean, he carry himself. This is what we want to see, you know. Prodigy and all them youth, there's some youth where I try to hold up them thing. Chronics, Jesse Royal, well, to some extent, some of these younger artists might deviate a little from the tradition, and because, you know, them following them peers and their peer pressure and all these things. But you can see when our artists are trying to hold up a thing. Hold up an order, man. You can't drift from the order. You need to hold up you have to have self-esteem in this thing.
The informative information presented in this video is motivational and is positively aimed at inspiring, educating and entertaining the viewers with the cutting edge of critical reasoning. If you enjoy the contents on the Black Radar YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to show your support.
This is Mutabaruka. We want to present to you a wholesome kind of level of consciousness right now. So subscribe and tell your friend them. This is Mutabaruka.